All right, let's begin as we dive right in. Our first segment is called Free Speech Isn't Free. Today is October 11th. It has come out with Pride Day. At this moment, the show is to be broadcasting live from Orlando for the Come Out with Pride celebrations. Obviously, we're not there. We are not there because our gay voice of equality, Orlando Commissioner Patty Sheehan, canceled on us at the last minute. Because of dialogue on social media with our co-host Power Infinity, and because of Log Cabin Republican Joe Brookman would be participating in the panel. She referred to them as fools. Then the Parliament House Director Darcel Stevens said that the institutional Parliament House is the heart of Orlando's gay community, and it is. Therefore, a gay conservative, Darcel Stevens knew nothing about except his political affiliation, said he could not step foot on the Parliament House property. Darcel's point was that the Orlando gay community could boycott the entire establishment. We could have met Darcel Stevens' demands, and this show would be celebrating Come Out with Pride in Orlando as we speak right now, Pride Weekend. But that would have required Joe Brookman to not join in a civil, educated conversation on our panel and for him to exercise his First Amendment rights. Specifically on this episode about gay free speech. Darcel Stevens also required he not be allowed to be on the set or to set foot in the Footlight Theater. Darcel also required he not be allowed in the building. Darcel Stevens also required he not be allowed on the property, all because he was a log cabin Republican. And finally, Darcel Stevens required in advance the list of topics that we were going to discuss tonight. It is not lost on any of us on this panel that if this was 1962, when the Parliament House was built as a motor inn, these exact requirements would have been demanded of our show in the exact same way against Darcel Stevens. We see no difference. So how are we celebrating coming out when there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of pride for all members of our community? Yay. The point. It's not enough to rail against the world we are watching from the White House. Our gay community demands more. We demand acceptance and diversity. But we learned this week, just not for all of us. It's just wrong. Everyone sitting here now, not in Orlando, resoundingly said no. Proudly, no. Commissioner Patty Sheehan and Darcel Stevens and all of us affected here are all gay. We learned this week, we as gay people make the same human mistakes as individuals throughout our nation, our very divided nation. Want to change this? Then vote for whoever you wish. But don't demand free speech for me, but not for thee. When we change that, we can finally celebrate our entire community's gay pride. And that's why we're here tonight. Thank you. And now we begin our conversation in Fort Lauderdale, in Wilton Manors. I laid it out there. I've told you what happened. Let's talk about it. Free speech isn't free. Who would like to start?
Okay, so since I was part of that story, let me get two things out of the way. let me first speak on Patty, and then Parliament House and Darcel. And this will be really quick with Patty. Bottom line, Patty Sheehan does not know me. She does not know Joe. She came on a post yesterday, a public post, and was rude as fuck. She referred to one of the two of us as fools without ever having known myself or Joe. Now, I am not going to agree with Joe's positions on a lot of things. We all know I am the farthest from a Republican or anything that has to do with Trump. I'm probably more anti-Trump than any bitch up in this room. However, that being said, I still was willing and am willing to give Joe the benefit of the doubt and to engage in a civil discourse and engage in a civil conversation with him. And I feel that she should have given him the opportunity. And if she didn't want to, that's up to her. But don't jump on a post and start it. Listen, Miss Patty girl, don't light it up with me and you won't get lit. All right? I'm not the one. You might not have known who I was, but I'll tell you who I'm not. I'm not the one to take shit from anybody, darling. So if you took umbrage to what I said, which all I told her was to clarify who she was talking about, she didn't feel the need to do that, and she said that, you know, she has other things to do and she's gonna do them, so I told her scoochy scooch. Okay, girl, bye.
But that's even it right there, that she wouldn't have a conversation with us. I wasn't involved with this at all, and I feel badly that I didn't understand what was happening with it. The segment is called Free Speech Isn't Free. Apparently it's not even a conversation. We can't establish a dialogue between separate parts of our community. I am completely dumbfounded by the fact that we can't even talk about our different points of view. I have heard this in the media immensely, that we have these different points and that we are at war with each other. I did not experience the fact that we can't actually listen until this story.
Tribalism is what it's called.
We were not listening to each other at all. You weren't allowed on their premises in 2018 because of what they think that you are. And I don't even understand what that is. I'm not sure exactly what a log cabin Republican is. I hope that you'll clarify that for me. But I can't imagine not even listening to you speak about what your opinions are or why you feel that way. How do you grow if that's the case?
I would like to say one more thing. On the other hand, when it comes to Parliament House and Darcel, okay? And before anybody gags, let me finish my statement and hear me out. I am, in all transparency, I work for Parliament House as a guest DJ and a guest performer from time to time. Darcel and I are very, very close friends. Darcel, everybody looks at me as a mother. I'm a mother of a house, but Darcel is to me like a mother. So I have a lot of respect for Darcel. The way I look at this is, I don't see a right or wrong with both parties. I think both parties are right. They just were not right for each other. Because to Darcel's point, I don't know if Darcel, and I did speak to Darcel earlier today, Darcel is not saying that he does not have free speech. She's just saying that she's exercising her right not to hear it. Now, you can say what you want to say, but not everybody is obligated to listen. So basically, Darcel was saying, you can say what you want to say, you're just not going to say it up in here. And really, I mean, I don't think that they were right for our show, but for them and their position, she has that right as well.
And she does. I think the point, though, is she has a right to express the entertainment that they want at the Parliament House. But we are an informational news and entertainment show. And free speech is at the heart of what we're talking about. To say at the last minute, we don't get to decide who we want on our show and what topics we're going to talk about is a direct violation of free speech.
Yes, that's true. However, we still get to decide who we want on our show. Obviously, we still have him.
Well,
however,
exactly right.
To her point, she's just saying, you just don't get to have it here.
Yes, exactly.
The interesting piece is that they have never met me. They haven't had a discussion to even get to know me. And yet I've been excluded from that perspective. It's like some of the issues in the court over this last year in terms of a baker and a cake, and people coming in to ask for a cake. Well, do you deny them a cake? If you deny them a cake, what is the basis for that? So you're denying me an opportunity to come in and participate in Parliament House. Why?
So we'll just get you
You
there
don't know
in
me.
leather chaps and a vest next time. I was invited there many times as Florida Leather Boy. We'll take
There
you
we
there
go.
then,
All right.
and then they'll amp it up. They'll
There
make
we
sure
go.
you're excited to be
Just
there.
don't tell them. Just don't tell them.
That's funny.
You know, I never thought I'd be sitting here saying that I feel like I identify with and relate to something that a Republican was saying. But I do. I understand every time you say something about not being included.
I apologize for interrupting, but I want to make sure that I'm clear. A trans activist just made the point that I identify with a log cabin Republican
Hold
in
on,
terms
now
of the
hold
same
on. Let's not. Let's make sure we're clear.
I love that.
We're very clear. But it is true. I mean, when you say that you feel like you've been rejected before they even get to know you or know anything about you, I gotta say, I know exactly how that feels. So I'm glad we're here having the conversation because I know what it's like to be left out of it.
And Joe, I am very glad that you're here. And I know a lot of people are probably having a heart attack. You know, they expected as soon as you got on, I was going, "Rah!" But I mean, like I said, I'm not going to agree with all your positions, but I have met you. You're a very, very nice man. You're very intelligent. And as long as we can get more of a Meghan McCain and less of a Candace Owen, I'm all for it.
Thank you. Very, very interesting observation because I hope that we will, right at this moment, make a commitment. My goodness, look at the diversity sitting in front of you in a relatively small gay community. Our commitment is that we can prove to the broad community of America in great diversity that we can sit and have conversation and it be civil and informative and be an education without it falling into what we're watching in America. So let's make a commitment right now that those are the kind of conversations we're going to have.